Ah, I think I've successfully managed to hide how untidy my desk is. So, yay. Good evening, and welcome back to Let's Talk LARP. I am exhausted. Hi, Lara. Oh, I'm so glad you're excited. I was excited too. I'm still excited. That sounds weird to say was, like I'm not now. Um, yeah, it's been a month. I think that's the only way to describe how this month's gone. I know my videos have not been coming out as regularly as they should be. That's because I've had a crazy few weeks in my personal life, as typical with me. So I apologize if you've been waiting for stuff that hasn't come out, but is a massive list of things that I am waiting to do. And in the meantime, I need some help, a massive amount of help. So, straight to the point on this first one. I went to my first LARP of the year. I'm going to say yes, my first LARP of the year, which was the Spring Moot of the Lorien Trust. And I went for 7 hours because that was the only time I could get for someone to watch my son while I went off to play. And I don't think I entirely remember how to play LARP as me. I can tell other people great ways of getting started in LARP, but apparently practically applying it to myself, I'm a little bit out of practice because I was staff for the last 7 years, and remembering how to play threw me entirely. That could be because, 7 hours is really not a lot of time to LARP, especially when you're going to an event that lasted 4 days. And from what I understand from everybody who went for far longer than I did, it was a spectacular event. I have never felt more jealous than coming home and my husband coming back 2 days later going, "Oh, it was so much fun. We did this happened." And I'm just like, I didn't see any of it. I got into one fight and I didn't do very well. And yeah, and I just couldn't. I don't know people, and I don't know how to role play. So yeah. So for because I've got more LARP events coming up very shortly. I've got hopefully the Lorien Trust Great Drain Fair, which is in 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks? Oh God. Which I'm hoping to go to for at least more than 7 hours, but no promises here. And I'm going to my first Empire event of the year, which is 4 weeks today, which I am so excited about because I've been planning for it and prepping for it. I think since January, I've been, sorting out costume and making props, and my desk that you cannot see, and my living room, which thankfully you can't see bar this minor, mostly tidy area behind me, is full to the brim of homemade LARP props, ranging from potion bottles to wine bottles stuffed with fairy lights and all of that jazz, as I getting prepared to, I think, decorate some form of icy tent for the first time in 7 years, because I've always camped in an out of character camping area up until this point, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I am desperately trying to remember how to roleplay. I'm surprised that it kind of just sort of drifted off. I always imagine roleplay to be one of those things like, riding a bike. It's not like I haven't been role-playing for the last 7 years. I've just been role-playing almost for other people's benefit as opposed to my own, and I don't know how to do that. So I am going to need some tips, which is why I have gathered you all here today. Basically, I want to hear what you think over the course of this next sort of hour and a half, because that's how long we usually do this for. I want to hear some ideas and tips you guys have for how the hell I should be LARPing now that I am no longer staff. like, how am I supposed to do this? Because I believe very much in facilitating others, and I love doing that, but I don't have to do that now. And I am allowed to kind of do some role play for myself, and I am not sure what I'm doing, which makes me sound incompetent and really does kind of ruins my credentials for having this YouTube channel. But hey, what am I if not brutally honest and incredibly critical of myself? So we're just going to power through with that and see how it goes. So yeah, if you want to stick some tips in the chat, or if you just want to tell me how stupid I am and you don't know why you're taking advice from me, that's fair enough. I won't blame you for that at all. Yeah, I have been so busy trying to get ready for Empire. I have literally just covered everything with like bottles and various other things. I decided I wanted to be an apothecary, so I have been making test tubes with labels with my group's logo / name on, and they do look pretty cool, I think. And I've also been putting liquids in them because I think potion bottles look great better with liquids, and I have a whole variety of them because I went mental and a bit sad. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I got overly keen for a LARP event, and I have essentially bullied a lot of my friends into coming with me through my husband, because despite the fact that I'm the one that desperately wants to go, I'm too shy to ask my own friends whether they actually want to come LARPing with me, even though I know for a fact they will probably say yes. So yeah, that's another thing as well. So because I'm the one that's kind of formed this group, I have to be a group leader, and I don't know how to do that either because I haven't done that in 7 years. 8 years, in fact. That was the last time I was, no, even longer than that. Oh dear. Nearly a decade. I'm old. That's what we've come to here. More people are joining. Hi. If you're wondering what's happened in the last 7 minutes, I've pretty much confessed that I'm not qualified to run this channel because I've forgotten how to LARP. Just the way it is, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong. Like I've said earlier, I know how to role play. Hi, Courtney. I am feeling a lot better. I might be sniffing still a little, but the general cold has finally diminished, and as you can hear, my voice has improved. Thank heaven. I appreciate your concern. Hi, Femi. That's okay. Oh, yeah, I don't know how to roleplay anymore. That's the big problem. I need to learn how to be selfish at LARP. And I don't mean selfish like, everyone get out of my way, I am the only main character here. But more of how to do stuff for me rather than just doing stuff for other people, because that's what I've done for the past 7 years as being a member of staff. And I need to really stop talking about it because, frankly, I'm not staff anymore. And therefore, that's not as interesting as it used to be. But never mind. Yeah, so I do need some guidance on what I'm supposed to do. I am prepping for Empire. If you've missed it, I've shown some props already that I've been making, because I have been making a lot of different decorations and props, and some of them remind me of things I made when I was 8 years old, and some of them look pretty decent. So if you are going to be at Empire for the spring equinox, I think it's the spring equinox, E2, you can come find my tent. It's not hard to spot. It's a pale blue one in the Navarre camp. I don't know where in the Navarre camp yet, but trust me, if you wander through and spot a pale blue tent, that's me, because I have to stand out. No, I've always owned a pale blue canvas bell tent, and I wasn't sure if it would fit into the Navarre aesthetic because it's blue. And everyone I've asked in the Navarre and in the Empire sort of what's it called, admin inquiries, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I emailed the Profound Decision inquiries team, and they're satisfied with it as well. So yeah, if you are going to Empire at E2, I will be there in a pale blue canvas tent that you can spot somewhere in the Navarre area, hopefully the woods. So yeah, talking a lot for the last 9 minutes. I'm very sorry. And say like that. Oh God, I'm just an idiot, aren't I? I don't know why I'm here. Yes. So things that have been going on. Um, I went to the Law Trust. I was there for 7 hours, in case you missed that part earlier. And I did get more done there than I think I thought possible. I got my old group, who I have missed very much in the last 6 years. They let me rejoin pretty much immediately. Thank God, because they are all super, super lovely. And I got them to agree that the next time they have a like an in-game ritual, um, that they'll use it on me because they're due one and they needed something to do with it. And I was like, "Hi, I need a ritual because my last one was, um, I'm not gonna say mediocre because I liked the result, but the person who did the performance has done a lot better since then. So I would like a redo of my magical powers that I have in that game." And they went, "Yeah, sure." So that's all ready. I just got to wait for the actual slot. I have a ritualist for it now because a friend owes my husband a favor. And my husband is going to bankroll it because he is super rich in the game and I am incredibly poor. So he is some form of, I don't want to say sugar daddy, but I feel like that's kind of what he is in game because I'm just his in game girlfriend who's poor and he just gives me money. Height of in-game romance. So I got that. I also got into a fight, which was brilliant and really fun. And I got to do some archery, which I hadn't done all year. And I didn't nearly die. I got knocked over a couple of times, which was fine. Had some slight problems with my legs again, but don't worry, I'm going to talk to my doctor about that. But I think it's meaning I'm going to have to go non-com for the rest of the year. So no combat for me at any of the LARPs I'm going to, which kind of sucks. But hey, I don't want to break myself again. I'm very keen to, be in a good mental place. And to do that, I have to be in a good physical place. So yeah, combat's out. But I did enjoy that little bit of combat I got into. And I successfully tested out my new GoPro, which seems to work very well, fits onto my in character belt brilliantly. No one mentioned it. Oh no, that's not true. A couple of my friends mentioned it, but I don't think anyone really noticed. And me, being the brilliant and not in any way stupid person that I am, forgot to film the battle I was in. I got too keen, got too eager, and forgot to actually film the battle I was in, which was the entire point of me having that GoPro. So I'm really, really annoyed with myself, um, because I was going to use that footage in a video and didn't get any. So really annoyed myself, and I'm going to have to work out another way of getting footage in a battle because I am now a non-combatant. Oh, it was a good fight though. Like, pulled off some proper nice archery shots, which is always, you know, really, really good to see. Hi, Charlotte. I missed your message. I am feeling so much better. It's lovely. Yeah. I'll be honest, the GoPro works very well, and the footage looks pretty decent, I think. But there's no fighting in it because I'm stupid. Never mind. That's okay. The important thing is I have it and it works, and I am trying to catch up on things that I filmed ages ago, including the interviews from LARPCon, which I filmed all the way back in March and only have just started doing them now because I had a mental sort of, not crisis, I'm not going to say that, but I'm like, I needed a break. I think I'd burnt myself out a little bit. I'm still not doing very well in terms of making sure I'm on this channel on time. There are tons of comments on videos that I have not responded to, and if you're one of them who's put a comment on, I am really sorry. I will get round to them. I'm just trying to catch up on actually managing my life effectively, and it's I'm always unstable. You guys know that. You've seen me on this channel plenty of times talking about how my life is just, but that's okay. Yeah, so I only got the 7 hours. I got to catch up with a bunch of friends though. Got to learn a little bit more about the faction I'm in because I don't know these people. Learned a few interesting things, learned some people's names. got involved with some political stuff because I'm allowed to do that now. And at 5 o'clock promptly, I had to go home and watch my son for the rest of the weekend. So yeah, if you ever get a ticket to a weekend long LARP, I'd strongly recommend you don't just go for half a day, because no matter how much you cram in, you don't feel like you've done enough. And if you're like me and not played LARP in a while, it's not enough time to really sort of get back in that headspace. So I strongly recommend, if you ever going to a LARP, try and go for at least 24 hours, just so that you get fully into that headspace. Sorry, my throat is getting really dry again. But hey ho, it'll all be fine. I'm looking forward to the Greater Drain Fair, which is my next LARP, because there's games, and usually, fingers crossed, the weather is better. If you are in the UK, you will know that the weather in this country at the moment is terrible. The puddle that forms outside of my house every time it rains developed a current yesterday, where it was just washing things down the street. And before you say, Jess, don't be stupid, that's a drain, the drain was blocked. So trust me, it developed a current. It was turning into some form of natural water, sort of landmark. And I think it would have swept away small children if they'd fallen in, unfortunately. So yeah, that was a lot of water. So I'm really hoping the weather from the next 2 LARP events I'm going to has improved. Because good weather is, nice for LARP. You don't want to be LARPing in torrential rain. It's uncomfortable. It's not good. It's not good. But yeah, hopefully the fair will have good weather, and that means we can sit out in the sun. I'm hoping to take my son along, which will be his first proper time LARPing. I took him to a couple of LARP events. One last year for like a day, and one when just after he was sort of like 6 months old for a day. He's never been for more than a day at LARP, and he's never camped in his life before. And I don't know if LARP is the right place to do that, but I don't have any other options before then, so it's trial by fire. He'll be camping with us for the first time at Empire, and we're doing all this prep to make sure he's going to be extra warm, because I'm really worried he's going to get really cold, and then he's going to be a nightmare the whole weekend. But we'll see. If you have any tips on how to keep a small child warm while camping, I would greatly appreciate it. Because I've read loads, and sometimes I think some of the ideas they've got are either really stupid or are really clever but won't apply to my son. Because I know you can get like little kids sleeping bags, and they're great because I'm playing with a chopstick I've been using for glue. Sorry if you're wondering what the thing in my hand is. Yeah, so you can get like sleeping bags for little kids, obviously, like proper like winter camping sleeping bags. You can take him up Everest or something like that. That's not going to work for my son, because he is an incredibly active sleeper. He didn't like being swaddled as a baby. He certainly doesn't like being swaddled now. In fact, his ideal sleeping position is to sleep on top of my duvet, on top of my legs, sprawled out like a dog. Because I don't know why, but it's really not conducive to comfortable camping experience, because he will just get really cold. So yeah, not looking forward to that bit, but we'll see how it goes. And frankly, I think he'll have a good time running around, which is all you really want, isn't it? Oh yeah, I'm really getting into the 12 Empire now. It's been filling a lot of my sort of headspace. I've been watching a lot of the vlogs on it and blogs, and looking at every photograph that's appearing on Instagram because of it. I'm really regretting not convincing people to go to E1 with me. But I've got people for E2. I have obviously convinced my darling husband, and my son gets no choice because he's 4. So that's 2 of so that's 2 companions I have. I managed to get my friend John, who is up in Scotland and is one of my most favorite people in the world. He is one of my very best friends. And he is coming all the way down from Scotland just to LARP with me, which means that I love him so much for coming along. So he will be joining us, and hopefully a couple of my friends from down south will be coming as well, and that would be lovely and fun because then we can all hang out together. And these are all awesome people, and we're all going to be in a group, which is going to be our striding, which I'm very much looking forward to because I haven't been in a proper group for quite a while. So yeah, we're gonna all sit around a campfire, sing some songs. Some of them will go off and do a bit of fighting, some of us will go off and do a bit of role play, and we're just gonna have a jolly time and treat it kind of like an in-character festival, essentially. And do the touristy thing. I've set it up so with their character build so that they'll all have a bit of in-game currency so that they can go off and spend it and buy some cool things while they're there. And yeah, it should really be a good time. And it's my birthday treat as well because it's like 3 weeks before my birthday. And that's how I've guilted them all to go because they're like, but it's my birthday and I want to go LARPing, and they all went, all right, Jess, that's fine. No, I think they're all getting quite keen for it as well. Especially as I keep showing them props I've made for them, and we're British, we like free stuff, so I don't think they can feel too bad about that if I'm making them things. Lots of layers we'll do the trick for kids. I think so, yeah. I think it's going to be lots of layers. He's got like fleece onesies that I bought him a while back. He's got a really cute one, which is like Grogu from The Mandalorian, and it's fleece, and I can't remember what it says on the front. It's not "This is the way." If any of you seen The Mandalorian, I think that's the phrase that's going to be on it. It's not that one, but it is super, super cute, and it's a very thick fleece. And I think if I'm putting in some layers under that, I think he'll be quite toasty. So that's the current plan. I think I'm also going to do some hot water bottles for him and just essentially make it into a little oven, and just sort of, if he gets too warm, he can just crawl out of it. Yeah, so Empire should be really good. I think it's one of those things where people weren't very sure on Empire, not because there's anything wrong with it. I think it's just the fact that because none of us had been before, all the way up to last year, you don't know, you're not necessarily sure of things you don't quite know, especially when you hear things about it and all that jazz. But I bit the bullet and decided to go last year, and I had a whale of a time. So I've convinced all of them to come with me, which frankly seems very sensible because it is brilliant. Yeah, it should be really, really good, and that's only 4 weeks away as well. I need to pack because the thing for the low interest is even if I do go for a day, I'm going to be coming home at night because my son needs to sleep in a bed, at least for the moment. So I don't need to pack because all my stuff will be here, so I can just get changed out of my main character costume at home and change into a fresh one in the morning. So I need to really pack for Empire because I'll be traveling on the train down to Banbury with everybody. And yeah, I need costumes, I need stuff. I need to order costumes, which I'll talk about in a little bit, because I had a wonderful surprise last week, which I need to tell you all about. Yeah, costume has always been a bit of a rough one for me because my weight's kind of fluctuating a little bit at the moment, so things fit me a bit weird. Plus, I'm having some major body confidence issues. But I got a new skirt recently that I think I look quite pretty in. So fingers crossed, and it fits the theme pretty well. So fingers crossed that'll be hold up for the day. It's also, as I discovered when I put it on, it's actually 3 inches shorter than I thought it would be, which is good because if it is wet at Empire, it means the hem won't drag in the mud, which is always my biggest fear when I have long skirts because they get wet and then they get muddy and then the mud dries and it becomes crusty and I can't stand that. It's a texture I do not like. It makes me uncomfortable. And even worse, if it doesn't dry, it's just wet and cold. And having that drifting around my ankles is just like, so no, no. So I've got some costume bits that I need to finish off. I've been making loads at the moment. Um, it's one of the things because I'm broke at the moment because the uh, cost of living crisis is affecting me more and more every day, including a rather unfortunate increase in rent that I wasn't expecting hitting me just yesterday. So money is pretty tight. So pretty much any time I get anything in, I think I can turn into a LARP prop. I have been doing so. We treated ourselves to a bottle of wine last week because we went out to the theatre for my husband's birthday, and we got dinner afterwards, just from like the co-op. But we got a bottle of wine and everything. And the second we finished that wine, I was like, "Don't throw it away. I can use it." Um, so half of my props that I've made so far are from various glass bottles and jars that I have acquired at home, either from, bottles of, fizzy drinks, or I'm just looking at them because they're scattered around my living room in various states of construction, into, jars with plants and bottles. And I think I'm going to end up making some form of terrarium in one of them as well. And one's probably going to have a fake frog in it. It's all a thing. I'm going to end up looking like some form of witch in this LARP, which is intentional, but I think I am leaning so hard into it that it's actually getting a bit worrying. And I'm not sure how we're going to transport all of this stuff to Empire, but I'm going to give it a go. Oh dear. It's just a lot, isn't it, really, at the moment? I keep scouring things, everything. We're actually going out again for my husband's birthday because my husband's birthday is actually this Sunday. But you know, Russell Howard, the comedian, came to Nottingham last weekend, so we went out to see him, and that was part of my birthday present for him. My husband, not Russell Howard. So yeah, we're going to go out on Sunday, and we're going to hit some charity shops slash thrift shops in Nottingham, looking for anything that looks like it could be a prop for LARP or a costume piece for LARP. We're just going to go for it because we are broke, but we need more stuff just to make our costumes complete and to make everything look good. So that's actually a video that will be coming out because the things that are going to be coming out hopefully over the next few weeks is going to be my prep for Empire. I have all my costume stuff coming, including some costume bits that I have done for my son, which I will show you because they look great. And I will include some bits about, going to find some accessories from some places that Debbie from Debbie LARP showed me last time we went thrift shopping together, because she's epic, and thank God for that. And I've also got a new bag, which I got for my birthday last year from my husband. Was it my birthday or Christmas? Either way, it doesn't matter. It's a beautiful bag. And that means I'm going to be doing another What's in My Character Bag video, which I did 2 years ago now, maybe 3 years ago, right near the start of I started my channel. I did What's in My Bag video, and now I have a new bag. And I've learned a lot since I did that last one. So I've got more things to show you about what's going to be in my Empire bag. So that'll be in there as well. And I'm hoping to get some footage about Empire as well. Won't be in the game because they have rules about that. But I'm going to be walking around before the game. I'm hoping to meet up with some the content creators while I'm there. And yeah, it's going to be it should be a good time. And hopefully I'm going to start getting some actual LARP footage as we go on, which should be brilliant. Yeah, it's all good. Costumes are really fun at the moment as well, which is the point I said I'd bring up 3 minutes ago. So a few weeks ago, probably maybe a month and a half ago now, because I keep getting behind on my videos. I put out a video called "I Did the Bergschneider Challenge." If you don't know what the Bergschneider Challenge is, because you saw that video and went, "Hell no, Jess, I'm not watching that." The Bergschneider Challenge is run by a company called Bergschneider. They are a German-based company, and they do LARP LARP slash reenactment costumes at a reasonable rate. From quality to cost, I think they're very, very much worth the money. And they started running a challenge. I think it might have been a year and a half ago, which is essentially that they select a bunch of their clothes. They reduce the cost of them for people who are willing to customize their costumes. And uh, yeah, you pick one, they send you the discount code, you put that in, and there is an agreement that by you buying it for that cost, you are going to essentially start to customize it, and show what it's like when it can be changed up and how you can change things and how you can make costumes go from being, something quite basic and nice looking to something quite unique and quite beautiful. And I did this whole video about how I wanted to try and make a cloak that kind of looked quite autumn like. It had inspirations from Keyleth's cloak from Critical Role. And I went through this whole painstaking process of getting what I can only describe as a billion felt leaves and just sewing them on by hand onto this cloak because I am stupid and don't own a sewing machine. And essentially making this cloak into the autumn cloak of my dreams. And it looks absolutely fantastic. I love it very much. I even added like longer straps on it so that they come down and tie around my back and around my front again because I wanted to hang on my shoulders like Sansa Stark's cloak from Game of Thrones when she was escaping King's Landing because I really liked this whole that it wasn't tight up here, it kind of sat there and you could just see the clothes she was wearing underneath, and I thought that was very beautiful, very elegant. So I changed the whole straps over to add those in. I added beads onto the straps so they looked prettier. It was a thing. This thing took up months of my life to do. And at the end, I got a rather beautiful thing, and I was very proud of it. And I posted it up on their Facebook page and go, look, this is my thing. It took ages. I think it looks nice. I hope you all do too. And Bergschneider, as it turned out, turned around and went, yeah, we like it very much as well. And for season 5, I was awarded second prize, which I'm dead chuffed about because, I worked really hard on that. And don't get me wrong, I think it looks great. But some of the other entries in there were absolutely stunning. Like the people who make these costumes are clearly like, if they're not professionals, they should be. Because they were absolutely gorgeous. But Bergstein were very specific that it's not just about the skill; it's about what you do with it and how that reflects, in the result that you have and the effort you put in and all that sort of thing. And they thought mine was great, and they gave me second prize, which I was very, very happy with. And first prize went to Debbie Larps, my friend Debbie, who made this incredible. She made two things actually. She made this incredible coat from a simpler coat that had because the coat she got wasn't available in her size. She took the sleeves off. She turned them into extra panels. She added a fur trim. She added ribbon trim. She added all this beautiful intricate beading, which looked like embroidery until you got closer and you realized it was all incredibly tiny beads. It There are no words. It was absolutely stunning, and she did this beautiful cloak as well, which she dyed and did a whole load of stuff for that as well. And there are no words to describe how amazing her work was, and she absolutely deserved first prize. And I am so happy for her because my God, she is so talented. If I had half her talent, I would be thrilled. And I am just a drop in the water compared to her ocean of talent. So Debbie, if you ever watch this, congratulations. You absolutely 100% deserve it. Oh yeah, and it's really good as well because there's prizes. I I got a €75 voucher for Bergschneider, which means I can get the last few bits of costume money for Empire. So it all works out, and I'm going to look all right, thanks to my own efforts, which I am really proud of because I'm a talentless idiot, and it's nice to know that working hard does mean something. I'm the Rock Lee of my of sewing. It- I say that I'm the Rock Lee. I'm not. Rock Lee was actually good at worked hard and became good. I work hard and became okay. So um, I'm still not as good as people who work harder than me and have skills. So yeah, that was a stupid comparison. I, I wish this wasn't live. I could erase that. Erase that from your brain. You heard nothing. Um, so yeah, I have this voucher and I'm going to need to buy at least one underdress that I'm trying to pick out. I don't know if I want a beige one or if I want a green one. And even then, I think I'm going to have about €20 left over, which I might give to my husband as an extra little birthday treat for him because he needs a lot of kit for Empire. And he's already got 75 quid that I gave him in voucher / cash for Christmas and for Father's Day. So he still needs a fair bit of kit. So yeah, I might give him those last €20 and make his birthday everything he wanted it to be. Yeah. It is kind of weird trying to get myself together for LARP again. I've got so many things I need to get done already. I keep looking at LARPs that I've already booked to go to because I need to finish paying for their tickets. Fortunately, I can pay them in installments, so I'm going to hopefully sort that out the next few weeks. And I need to go back to another LARP, which has offered for me to go and film at their event. Because again, mental health has been a bit all over the place for the last bit. I have a question. I like a question. What do you like in a villain character? Because I play a gang boss in a 1920s LARP. As a villain, it's difficult to balance out evilness and be a good person to play with. What do I like in a villain character? I like villain characters who don't necessarily think that they're evil. I think it's when you think of villains, I think a lot of people sort of think like Dick Dastardly from Wacky Races. That's showing my age, isn't it? Or another reference showing my age. Have you ever seen like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the judge in that? No, I'm like if you've ever seen that, it's almost like cartoonish, like mustache twizzling kind of villains, and it's like, wahaha, I will throw you under a train, and because that's what evil people do. It's not. It's kind of silly. So when I like villain characters, I like villain characters who think they're doing not necessarily the right thing, but they can justify it. Um, if you think of sort of like The Godfather, a lot of the things that the Corleone family do in terms of their gangster stuff is that they believe in two things: one, that their family needs to prosper, and two, that they need to be respected by the other families who deal in the same sort of things they do. And when either one of those things is threatened, that's when they act. So you need to have a justification for why you behave the way you do. So if you are, let's say, as you're saying, playing a gang boss in the 1920s, then you're going to probably be involved in a lot of a lot of illegal activities. So I'm going to presume there's not things like, prostitution or anything like that, but I presume there's going to be like speakeasies and, smuggling illicit, materials from city to city if you're I'm presuming based in the US. 1920s gangster films were a great thing, which I loved very much, um, until they changed the policy on films, and suddenly you were allowed to show gore on screen, and the wuss in me came out. What's my favourite gangster film? Bugsy Malone, because I'm a child. But if that's your thing, and you're going to have all this sort of illicit activity that you're going to be responsible for, then what you need to do is have a reason. So, are you trying to support your family? Do you need to be respected because of the way you were brought up, or because something happened when you were a child? You need justification, and you are allowed to do bad things to continue that justification, but that is essentially what you need. Rather than just being that mustache twizzling villain that I do bad things because I can. Yeah, I hope that helped. Good villains always have a reason for what they do. They're not just bad. They have their reasons. They just do bad things to justify them. Hello, what is LARP? LARP stands for live action role play, and it is, in Momo O'Brien's words, an adult game of make believe. But it's not necessarily just for adults, because I LARP at family LARPs, which means there are children there, and we all LARP together. And it kind of reminds you of those games you played as a kid, where you played pretend, like playing pirates in the woods wielding sticks. Except this time you might still be in the woods, but you've got maybe 2,000 friends, and the sticks are generally foam swords that you wave at each other, and you all pretend to be wizards and warriors, or if you're going, you can be pirates or space aliens. Depends what genre you go to, because there are so many. And live action role play is one of the best hobbies in the world, because it encourages creative thinking. It encourages people to get out of their comfort zone, and I think it inspires confidence and makes people come together in a wonderful world of storytelling, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Am I a filmmaker? Sort of. I wouldn't say I'm a great filmmaker. I studied media when I was in college, a long time ago. And I did a long course on gangster films and, kind of semi-horror films, because that's what my media teacher liked. And I hated those immensely. But I loved doing filming and editing and all that sort of thing. And I fell out of that after college. I did 2 degrees in archaeology, developed epilepsy, went on a really weird career sort of chaos, and now I make videos for YouTube as a hobby, all about live action role play, because why the hell not? So am I a filmmaker? No, yes, maybe. I have way more filming equipment than any person who isn't a filmmaker has any right to, because I have studio lighting and a variety of different cameras, including a GoPro and a lot of editing software, and a Yeti blue microphone, so Yeti Nano to be specific. So yeah, hi Jaden. I'm presuming you're new here. Yeah, welcome to LARP. Please come LARPing. It's a wonderful magical hobby. Yeah. Oh, that's really thrown me. I liked making different characters. Villain characters are always really interesting. Because I think it's very hard to play a good bad guy. And when I say a good bad guy, I hope that's obvious that what I mean is a, well thought out, well performed bad guy, as opposed to, a goody pretending to be a baddie, or a baddie pretending to be goody. And that's because I think it's very hard to do genuine evil well, because a lot of people sort of see it as that mustache twizzling, I'm tying a young lady to a train tracks, and then I'm going to run off with Muttley and my flying machine kind of way. Seriously, if you've not seen Wacky Races, go see it, because I'm sure Jaden will tell you it was awesome. And they need to bring it back. Hanna-Barbera in general was amazing. Like one of the best animation studios of all time. Anyway, yeah, a lot of people sort of see villains like that as opposed to seeing villains as complex people with motivations and reasoning, and sometimes they even genuinely believe that they are good guys. Um, they can justify them doing bad things for the sake of a greater good, or because they genuinely think that what they're doing is good. And it's often, and sometimes that's misguided, and sometimes that's just dumb. Because not even all evil is like self-serving evil. A lot of it's can be, well, I need to protect my family, so this is the thing. I need to protect them, so I will provide for them. Great example of this: the Vulture from Spider-Man: Homecoming. Brilliant villain. Like absolutely like fantastic because spoilers if you haven't seen Spider-Man: Homecoming. I'm very sorry, but that film has barely been out for a few years, so you should know by now. Essentially, the Vulture is played by Michael Keaton. I'm gonna say Michael Keaton. I'm pretty sure on that, but I do misremember things. He's got a wife, he's got a daughter, and essentially he does all of the things he does because he, lost his job and needs to financially provide. And that means that he steals things he shouldn't, uh, incidentally kills people, because he wants to continue this lifestyle that he's built for his family, and nearly kills poor Peter Parker, because he needs Spider-Man and he keeps ruining things. And that's what makes him a fantastic villain, because there's that justification. And in contrast, you can have like the Green Goblin, who, and I mean the Goblin sort of bit, not Norman Osborn. Norman Osborn's a whole other thing, but I mean like the Green Goblin in. Oh, is that my microphone going away? It might be because I keep leaning forward. I'm sorry, Mike. Is that a bit better? Let me know if that's not better. Yeah. So yeah, if you think of the Green Goblin sort of bit of Norman Osborn, not Norman Osborn himself, the Green Goblin is just like chaos walking. Because, I don't think he really cares about anything. He just wants to cause like sort of wanton destruction. At least in the original Spider-Man film, I know he's a much more complex villain in the comics and in later media. But that's my point, is essentially, you got a motivation. Hades from Disney's Hercules is one of my favorite villains as well. That's fair. Sorry about that, Mike. Let me know if I'm moving around again, because I'm an animated person, so I'm very sorry. Yeah, I love Hades from Disney's Hercules. He is one of the greatest Disney villains of all time. Because he's got his motivations too. He has to rule this rather unpleasant place because his brother says so. His brother, in contrast, gets to rule a rather nice place, and everyone listens to him and respects him. And everyone doesn't like Hades because he's creepy and lives in the underworld. And obviously, that doesn't align with Greek mythology. And Greek mythology is far more complex. But it's Disney, so the oversimplification of Greek mythology in Disney should be expected. And Hades has done very, very well. I can't remember who voiced him, but it was absolutely fantastic. And what I really, really liked was that when we've had Hades portrayed in other media, other Disney media, like if again showing my age, if any of you ever seen House of Mouse, there was a Halloween villain special where the villains took over the House of Mouse, and Hades was in that, and he was very, very good, and really well done. But also in I'm at. But also in the Disney's Descendants franchise, which if you have not seen, why? Because that was spot on. He is played incredibly well, and the actor in that really captured the essence of Hades as well. And I liked him in that one especially because again, he came back and was more complex. But that's because Disney's Descendants is generally meant to be more complex with, villain kids and what makes good and evil and all that sort of thing. And I'm feeling highly conflicted at the moment because I recently watched The School for Good and Evil on Netflix, which not only reminded me of Descendants, but also reminded me of Ever After High and yeah, the concept of good, evil, and what makes a villain and all that sort of thing has been on the forefront of my mind lately. Yeah, go on about that for a while. I haven't really played a villain at LARP. I want to, but I don't know which one I would kind of do. Do rewatch them, Lara. They are all wonderful. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to one called Eldritch Days in October, and I don't think I can necessarily play a villain, but I could technically play somebody who's not as pleasant. I have to think about it. I kind of want to play a librarian / reporter, but I could I'm not gonna say Rita Skeeter it. Oh, Debbie, hi! I went on about your amazing Bergsnyder costume earlier, so sorry. It was wonderful. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Yes, what was I saying? Oh, I can't remember. I got excited. Yeah, I need to play a villain at some point. But I don't know which LARP to do. I think it will probably be Eldritch Days, but I've got to work out how to do it because I want to be able to touch wood film at that event if the organizers will allow me. So I really don't want to have to play something that people role play too intensely with. Because I don't like appearing in my own LARP videos. I mean, not the ones where I do my tutorials and I speak to the camera like this. I've got no issue with that. But I don't, for my personal filming style, I don't want to film me at LARP because I am relatively actually boring at LARP itself. I am. I'm not a bad role player, don't get me wrong, and I definitely love it, but I don't think I role play interestingly enough that you guys need to see me role playing. I'm not interesting. Other people are really interesting, and when they're happy for me to film them, and the LARP's happy for me to film them, I absolutely will. Which references why I don't actually appear in the interview videos that I've got coming out at the moment, because I'm far more interested in what all of those organizers are saying than I am being interested in me having me on film. I'd much rather listen to them than listen to me you know talk about how much I love their games, when to be fair I've not actually been to their games yet, because that's one of the reasons why I wanted to interview people, because I was like, I want to hear about your games so I can work out how to go to them, because they do sound epic. I need to go to Curious Pastimes. Um they were just so nice to talk to, and they clearly love their game a lot. So I need to make time to go to that. And same for Exiled on the Shores of Kamoa as well. And to Orion Sphere, which is the one that will be coming out on Monday. Because Orion Sphere is a sci-fi LARP run by some lovely people that I know, some very, very nice, sweet friends of mine who I haven't seen in quite a while because they've been off running Orion Sphere and not been going to LARPs that I go to. So I desperately need to go to those games so that I can see people. So that was my ulterior motive, interviewing as many people as I could at LARPCon. Yeah. Oh, so much coming up at the moment. So much coming up. Yeah, E2's in a few weeks. I have got to finish all that up and work out how I'm going to be transporting it, because I have a lot of wooden boxes and a lot of icy decor for my group that we're going to be putting up, and a lot of props as well, because for those of you who have arrived later, I have been making tons of potion vials to sell in a variety of colors with labels, because I am a sad human being who makes labels, and that light is far too bright to show you what's said on the labels, but that's not the point. And I have them in a wide variety of colors. And I know that a lot of people don't like vials because they don't necessarily fit things, but I think these are so pretty. And if other people don't want to use them, that's fine. I can use them all because I think they look great. So yeah, I'm making a ton of those, making a ton of camp decor. And yeah, I am incredibly excited. Oh no, don't be anxious. Don't be anxious about going to a LARP. No. There's no such thing as great role players. Everyone's, because you don't know 90% of the time if people are just being themselves and they're just naturally that outlandish in real life. Which does happen. Is that pronounced Lugavalian? I think that's an amazing name. Yeah, seriously, don't be nervous about going LARPing. We all start as, LARPers who are not very good at role play and a bit nervous. Because even people who are like role played for years, whether it be like, tabletop or they were out in their friends in the woods, since they were children, it's a whole other ball game when you're suddenly in front of people you don't know and you've got to literally improvise an entire evening or an entire weekend or even an entire week. And sometimes, you don't feel confident with it, but that's fine. That's fine. You get the hang of it. And the advice I was always told is when you're really anxious about playing your character, about LARPing and playing characters, just try not to say no when people ask you to do stuff. And if you can think of something you can do to help other people, offer to do it, because even if you are terrible at it, you gave it a go and it will generate role play. It will always generate role play, and that's the most important thing. And even if it goes terribly, you can do it again. And yeah, you'll absolutely love it. Oh, hello, yes, another LARP podcast. I watched something of yours recently and I loved it. You go to Empire, don't you? If I'm going to A2, come talk to me. I need to talk to everybody. Not a problem on the advice. Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. We all suck. We all suck. And some of us suck for years. Anyone who's role played with me knows I'm terrible at it. It's fine. Have fun. It's not as embarrassing as it looks. Yeah. The more you do it, the more you'll get used to it, and it'll be absolutely fine. Yeah, it'll all be okay. Oh, I get really excited about people, new LARPers and people LARPing for the first time because LARP's awesome, and there should be more people doing it. I just get caught up in trying to think too much and missing the opportunity to do things. I get that. I get that. Example, I went to Empire Event 4 last year, and there was a downtime campaign that was going to be running to the area where my character is from, which is Brickeliand. Yeah, I'm going to say Brickeliand. Brickeliand, which is an area that is sort of controlled by the Navarre, but not technically part of the Empire because it is under the control of a plant. I'm not going to say entity, but it's kind of like an entity known as the Vallorn, which, from what I understand, is kind of like the poisonous jungle from Norsca, the Valley of the Wind. But yes, they ran a campaign to go to that and go into the heart of the Vallorn, and they were encouraging people to change like one of their resources over to a military unit so that you could essentially send the military unit into it and take part in this campaign. And I decided not to because I wasn't sure. I didn't want to spend some IC money, and frankly, I didn't know if I was ever going to go again. So I decided not to. And after the event and over the winter, I decided I definitely do want to go back to Empire. and reading about all the stuff that these people got out of this downtime campaign has made me so incredibly jealous. Um, and I got really upset with myself at one point. Um, coming back to you in a sec, Mike. Yeah, I got really upset because um, I missed on that opportunity, and I could have had some awesome role play and some awesome resources, and I just didn't because and that was my mistake, and I was really upset with myself. Um, you know, it's okay. It's okay. You're going to miss opportunities. Even if you do everything, you're going to miss stuff because it's physically impossible for you to do everything. And yeah, you're going to overthink stuff as well. That's perfect. All of it's perfectly normal. At the end of the day, even if you miss the opportunity to do most things, if you can put yourself out there just once, it will always be worth it. And the more you go, the easier you'll find it is to put yourself out there. You'll miss less opportunities and you will keep getting more and more out of your event. Debbie's right. FOMO is a massive, massive thing. We all get FOMO, even when we're at events. Another example, I was on what was called a linear at the Lorien Trust once, and linear was essentially you take a small party out, and essentially it's a dungeon crawl away from the main event. And it was being held in an area which was separate from the main field, but you could still see the main field. And we were there, and we just got in, and we were waiting for the referees to finish setting up, and we just looked across the field, and this mass of people just was moving across the field, and it was 2-3 camps marching on another camp. And yeah, that's a big deal at the Lorien Trust. Multiple camps marching on another one. Possibly starting a massive fight unexpectedly, and we missed all of it. Like by the time we got off this dungeon crawl linear, it was over, and it sucked. I had to hear about it from my friends and my husband, who were all like, "Yeah, this was amazing. Where were you?" And I thought I was over I was over amongst the Christmas trees, doing a thing, and we couldn't take part. And that was rubbish. You're gonna miss things. You're always gonna have FOMO. Just keep putting yourself out there. The more you put yourself out there, the less you'll miss, and it will only get better each time. And in terms of overthinking, that's okay. We all overthink. Just try and just try at least once per event to agree to do something that you've not done before with people that maybe you don't know very well. You don't have to necessarily go off with people you don't know at all, but even if you'd like a couple of people you've just met at the start of the weekend, try and go off and make some friends, get involved. It is really, really cool. And yeah, eventually you'll look back and go, I don't know why I was so worried. It's a great time. So yeah, yes, I have been to LT. I staffed LT for 7 years, and I only just stopped. So I'm relearning how to play LT, and I'm actually going to be at hopefully the Great Adrian Fair in 2 weeks' time, which is 2 weeks before Empire, because I'm insane and I'm LARPing back to back to back to back because I've already been to one LARP event this month already. So yeah, yes, do get yourself out there. It'll be wonderful. Yeah, and here's the thing, Debbie. If you read Debbie, she went off on a mission to destroy the load of slave lords, and I missed that too. I didn't do anything with my resource. I got some money and went home, and that was it. And that's my fault. I missed out. It happens. Everybody is, getting some amazing role play out of it, and I just have to sit and hear the story, and that's okay. It's just how it is. Mike, you are in Nottingham. I am also in Nottingham. We may need to. We could meet up, possibly, because I need more friends. So, like, DM me on Twitter or Instagram. Because I like meeting people. Yes. Slippy Tiger, you've not missed a lot. I've mainly been going on about, Empire, Lauren Trust. I've forgotten how to roleplay. I've made props. My desk that you can't see is a mess. I came second in the Bergschneider challenge for my cloak that I made a video on. Debbie from Debbie LARPs, who is in the chat, came first because she is epic and incredibly talented. And I feel like that's pretty much all of it. Oh, and we talked about how to play villain characters, which have some good motivation for your character. I think that summarizes it. Did I miss anything? If I missed anything else, pop it all in the chat. Well, that was a very short summary for an hour's worth of chatting to a camera. Thank you. Yes, it was. I was very proud of that cloak. I will be wearing it to Empire. So if anyone goes looking for me at Empire, I will be wearing on some of the evenings a bright red cloak with a ton of leaves sewn on, just wandering about. So if you spot me, feel free to come and say hi because I love seeing people. Yeah. So all is good at the moment, I think, all things considered. Just got tons to do, tons of videos to film, tons of things to get going. Hi, Aylin. I am in the Navarre. Bye, Lara. And the Navarre, from what I understand, are a generally partially nomadic people who walk the trods of the Empire to help drain the power of the Valorn, which is a Norsca Valley of the Wind style villain. Villain forest. Like, I always picture, you know what's weird? I picture it kind of like the Pokemon Tangela, but on a massive version. That's just how it is in my head. And I don't think that's right, but it justifies it in my head and how it's, it kind of looks in a way. But it's more complicated than that. I have taken Realm Lore, Debbie. I'm taking Spring Lore. I'm trying to convince another friend of mine who's coming to take Spring Lore as well. But that's not set. We can change those. So yeah, drop me a message on Twitter because I am very much in for joining a coven. Ents and tree zombies. That's fair. But I picture the heart of the Valorn kind of looking like Tangela. I don't know why. It's just like a big, big evil looking Tangela. I know I'm wrong. It's just how it looks in my head. Yeah, so I'm in the Navarre. We are going to be camping amongst the trees, and I hopefully not too far of a walk from the main center of Anvil. Fingers crossed. So yeah, it should all be good. That is the best line I have ever read. My first LARP ended with my friend getting blood sacrificed by a bunch of Celts. That's so cool. Only at LARP can you really say that. Is like, that's so cool. Just like, yeah, what's cool, and like, what happened at your event? Oh, so yeah, a mate of mine got blood sacrificed. Only at LARP can you say something like that and it, not be concerning. I do like that. I've not seen many blood sacrifices at LARP. I did once recently hear about a child that got sacrificed at a game, which seemed very controversial until we'd got it specifically was told that the child volunteered and it was their idea. So, facilitate role play as long as it's done in an age appropriate manner. The kid wanted to be blood sacrificed. All right then. Only at LARP. Only at LARP do you get these weird situations. It's great. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Can't think of the weirdest thing that's happened to me at LARP. Lots of strange things have happened to me at LARP. I'll tell you one thing that happened to me at the spring boot that I just went to. Considering I was only there for a 7 hours, I ended up nearly getting into a fight with a cockatrice. Cockatrice. Either way, same thing. It looks like a chicken. It can petrify you. Terrifying thing. Nearly got into a fight with one. That was a mistake. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think anyone died though. A few of my friends have died lately. Oh, that was the thing. One of my friends died last year during a party that was being thrown for me. I was retiring from being a guild master at the Loyal Trust, and had decided to host a party for it, because I wanted to go away with nice memory. And lots of my friends from around the field came down. They were all dressed up really nicely, which was magnificent. They all looked great. And one of my friends popped down for a bit. I saw her, was very happy to see her. She wandered off, and next thing I knew, um, she was dead. she was dead. Like, her character had wandered into the main bad guy of the event, and the main bad guy like ripped her soul out, and yeah, she was dead. And that was during my party. So I'm standing there in a beautiful green and white ball gown, um, and my friend got killed by an evil god demon person. I can't remember which. So that was distressing. Oh no! Oh, I'm so sorry, Debbie. Is it one of the friends I know? I feel like I'm gonna have an emotional, you know, upset if it turns out to be someone I knew. Yeah, emotional role play is always fun. I feel like I went on a massive tangent there. Oh, that's a familiar name. Oh, I hope I've got a feeling I know them. Oh dear. I remember a few people, but that's a name I remember. No. Um, yeah. So I am going to Empire. Oh, yeah, that does sound very familiar. So I am going to Empire in E2 for event 2. I've become an apothecary because I wanted to make potions. I've got a herb garden so I can get herbs to make potions. I still have some money left over from the previous one, so I'm going to go and spend it all on various stuff. Um, yeah, and I'm going to try and get into the role play a lot more this time, because last time I just was kind of milling about. I didn't do a lot of the role play. I did a little bit, but not a lot. I went to see what the combat was like. That was a load of fun, but I can't do that this year. So my aim for this next event is to make sure all my friends are okay first, and then secondly to try and go and get in some role play. So yeah, I do want to go and see if I can join a coven, Debbie. So very convenient there. Um, and I want to do some uh, you know some rituals, and I want to also go off and do some role play, learn more about the Valorn. I want to learn. Yeah, I feel like the Valorn are definitely the way I want to take my character. I know there's a representative for not the fight against the Valorn. There's a specific person who's like the expert on the Valorn within Empire, and I need to go and find them because I want to learn more about it. I know somebody wrote an entire book about it, so I need to go and get a copy of that. Yeah, I've got a lot of things to think about at this event, and I'm quite excited because I'm actually going to go and role play as opposed to go off and be a tourist while all my friends are off being tourists. But that's okay because it's fun, and I need to role play more. I am excited for Empire mainly because I've never staffed it. I have no responsibilities at all other than my son, who is there with me and my husband, which means we can share the responsibility, which means we can both get out and do stuff. Plus, it's also going to be the first time my son has been off his reins because he's had a backpack for ages because he's autistic and has in the past, run off. But we're hoping that this year he's going to be calmer because he's more used to not running away. And fingers crossed, it'll all be fine. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, he's my only responsibility. So I'm going to go off and be free and do some role play and have a whale of a time, and it should all be okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else is coming up LARP wise. I've heard the Academy is very good. Yes, the Academy, for reference, and for those of you who've not been to Empire, is essentially the young person's kind of program at Empire. It's where they teach them they teach them in character about the game. They teach them how to be safe fighters, and essentially it's like a school for these kids, and they do lots of fun activities for them. My son is 4 and is mostly non-verbal, so I don't think he would actually get a lot out of the Academy at this stage. But that's okay. One of the great things about Empire is that it is very adaptable to kids and their own individual needs, because some children are a lot more mature than other children. Some kids are a lot more immature than other children. And I have a son who is just a bit immature, because that is part of his condition. And that's okay. He won't be going to the academy this year, but he might next year. We'll see how it goes. Is it common to have lots of character idea and want to do them just as you establish your first character? Right. So, most people don't follow me on Pinterest, but if you want to follow me on Pinterest, what you will find is a number of boards for various characters that I want to play. Most of them are for LARPs I have never been to. There's one on there for Northern Kingdoms, which is a Witcher-based LARP, which I now have to change entirely because Netflix ripped off my idea for Witcher Blood Origins. But we'll come off to that in a bit. And I have another one for a LARP that didn't go ahead, which was kind of based on Fate's Day Night, where I created a battle-hardened Cinderella character who became queen after Prince Charming died, and had to rule her kingdom as it was attacked by a foreign invading force. So that she's on there. It is so common for people to create a billion characters once they've just started their first one, because once you get into that idea, and especially if it's like a mechanics-based game, not always. It works for other games as well, but if you have a mechanics-based game, you end up going, well, this combination of skills will work really well, and then you could have character like this, and before you know it, you've built an entire Pinterest board with all of these different things showing how things, all these different sort of, ideas and costume designs and what sort of skills you want them to have. For this character I have for Empire, half of my Pinterest board is ocarina music. I'm very bad at playing the ocarina. I can play exactly one thing well on the ocarina and two things from memory. And the two things I can play from memory is Lugia's song from the second Pokemon movie and the first opening bars of Star Wars, the Star Wars theme. And I can play the Star Wars one really well and the Lugia one okay, and I can't remember the others, but there are so many songs on there because I'm desperate to play the ocarina. So yeah, it's so common to just want to keep doing stuff on characters. Go and look at my Pinterest. It's linked on all my videos. You'll see. It's so common. How do you come up with different personalities? Because I struggle, mostly because I'm self-conscious and would love to hear my tips. Okay. So it's okay to struggle with sort of, different personalities for LARP characters. And I say that because 99% of people who go to a LARP will essentially play a character exactly like themselves, but a LARP version for their first character. Guaranteed, you can't avoid it. And most people can't avoid it. And that 1% who can are like professionals. And that's perfectly okay. It's perfectly okay to turn around and go, I'm just playing who I would want to be if I was in a fantasy world. That's fine. Everyone does it. So don't worry about, how do you come up with all these sort of different personalities when you first get started. No one will judge you for essentially being yourself in a fantasy world. However, people do like to play around with different things, and they do use LARP to explore different personalities, different character concepts, and different aspect of their own personality. So what I do when I'm looking at different personalities of characters, what I tend to do is look at a characteristic that I want to overemphasize and learn more about, essentially, or use as a tool for whatever reason. So, for instance, I can be a very angry person. I'm not very good at expressing it, and I get quite shy, but I have a lot of, internal anger. So I would use that aspect of me if I wanted to play a very sort of barbarian, burly, angry character. I would focus on that and then start focusing on reasons as to why my character would behave that way. And then I would essentially start installing that backstory into my character. So, for instance, let's say I want to play a barbarian who's very angry at the world. I don't like people. I don't like people behave like, being stupid. I think most people in general are idiots. And I just think that most problems can be solved by hitting things. Why do I feel that way? Well, I could have, let's say, suffered a great tragedy in my past. My family could have all been killed, and that just makes me angry at the world because they shouldn't have died. It wasn't fair, and all that sort of thing. How do I then keep that in the forefront of my mind? Well, I would maybe have some memories of them. Maybe it would be like, a trinket here and there, you know, maybe a small toy that used to belong to one of my children or something that my spouse gave me. Just little things to keep in the forefront of my mind why I was angry. And essentially, what you have to do is kind of build reminders for those personalities. Playlists are one people really, really like. I have a playlist for every character I play, every LARP. Some of which is more about the theme of the LARP, some of it is more about who my character is. And essentially, you use all of these tools to, as Mike says, visualize becoming this person. And sometimes it takes forever. Like, I start playing my character's playlist almost daily for about a month before my game starts. I have a playlist for my character Empire, who's I've recently changed her name. Her name used to be Turn. I've now renamed her Lilywin. I have a whole playlist for her, and I've built that up, and I've been playing it at least once a day for the last week, and I will probably play it a few times over the next next week. And I'll keep doing that, and I'm getting all of the bits together, and I'm going to use that to emphasize who she is. And she's a quieter person, I think, than my LT character Briar, because she's very focused on her family and taking care of them and making sure that they're okay. So she's very much focused on that. Because of that, she's a very still person because she likes to think things through. Unlike my character Briar, who never thinks anything through. She does literally go, "Yes, we'll go in, try not to die." That's not who this character is going to be. So, yeah, look for tools and try and carry them around with you as well. I've also if you've got something you can wear on a day-to-day basis to help keep that character in your mind. I would always do that. I have a pair of earrings for Lilywin now, which I've been putting in since they arrived. It's quite nice, because every time I go to the bathroom and I look in the bathroom mirror, I see the earrings and I remember this character and I remember what she wants to be like, and it keeps her in the forefront of my mind. It's a process. It's almost like the thing that method actors use where they get into character and then don't leave that character for like a week. And I don't recommend you doing that because trust me, people will freak out in your real life. But the principle of it is not the same. I mean, like, for instance, I've even got this. I bought this recently, which I saw her as well. I keep wearing it all opportunities mainly because it's super cute. And that's okay. Yeah. It's just about keeping them at the forefront of your mind. And also, one other piece of advice is when you're looking at different personalities and stuff, don't swing so hard into a very forceful personality that you don't think you can carry. Ease into it, because if you decide you want to play a character that is completely opposite from yourself with no experience, that's great. But if you're not confident with it, there's a risk that you're not going to enjoy it because you aren't prepared to carry it through. If you are prepared, brilliant, go for it. And it's always great to see people, stretching themselves and doing really, really interesting things. But if you're not too confident, maybe pick something just a little bit gentler and easing yourself in. Because ultimately, I've said this many, many times on this channel, the whole point of LARP is to have fun. And if you don't enjoy it, then it's a waste of your time. So yeah, you come up with the personalities by selecting themes and, emotions or personality traits that you want to play with. And then you develop things from there. Starting with personality is a really, really good way of starting character creation as well. Because it's a lot easier to justify reasons as to why people would behave. Once you know exactly how you want to behave with them. Yeah. So I hope that helped. I'm very aware that I ramble on like a crazy person. Because unlike my videos, which I can edit out all the ums and ahs, and I can take all these random things that I say and kind of slot them into where they all make sense. When I do it live, I just blurt. So I'm very, very sorry if that was not what you wanted, but I'm doing my best here. Yep. Sorry, I'm just looking at my calendar. Because I'm going to have to pick a date for this next one very, very shortly, because we're going to slowly come to an end. So we've got maybe 5 minutes before I'm going to shut this down. I will stay on longer if anyone has any more questions. To have it roll! Yes! Yes! Hi! You appeared literally in the first 5 minutes, so I will stay longer. How are you guys? I miss you. I want to see you. I'm coming to E2. You need to come play with me. I've got to come to Dawn anyway and see you. See Morgan from LARPs and Tarps. I now need to come and meet the Not Another LARP podcast. Yes, another LARP podcast. Oh, there's so many people now. It's so many. I love so many, UK like LARP, content creators at the moment. There's so many of us, and you're all brilliant, and I really need to see you all. And so, yes, I'm at E2. We need to chat again. We need to all do a video together. I feel like that's a big thing. We need to get everybody. Right. Does anyone have any last questions before I run away? Because we've been at this an hour and a half. I'm coming to E2. Yes. Me. I brought friends. I brought family. There's going to be a group of us. We're going to be great. Oh, yes. It's going to be fun. I'm so excited. Yeah. I'll be there. Yeah. I'll message you all and see if we can find a place we can meet up like on the Friday before the game starts. Or I might just hunt you all down on like the Saturday and drag you around the field going, we need to go and meet these random characters that we don't know, but we're going to go and find them anyway, and freak everybody out. Yes, we need to all go together to make content, because content is awesome, especially for LARP. So yeah, right. I'm going to be logging off very shortly. So the date for the next one, I think the date for the next one should be the 16th of June, which is the Friday immediately after E2, which means it'll all be fresh in my brain, and I can give you all my immediate thoughts on Empire before I even film a video on it. So I think that would be absolutely brilliant. So pop it in your diary if you're, if you actually do that, that would be awesome. 16th of June, we're going to talk about Empire E2, and it will be absolutely amazing. So, that's a good point. I've met people on the trods. I've met everybody. It's going to be great. Lots of love to you too, having to roll. Oliver and Robin, you are amazing, and I'm looking forward to finally meeting you in person. Right, everybody have a wonderful month. If you're going to be at E2, come and find me. I will be in the Navarre camp with the pale blue tent. I am really hard to miss because I'm pretty sure I'm the only pale blue bell tent in Navarre, but that's okay. So yeah, if you're wandering through the Navarre camp and you see that tent, come and see if I'm sitting there, because I might be. Yeah, have a great month. I hope you're staying safe. Hope you're staying healthy. See you at E2 if you're going to be there. See you at LT if you're going to be there. And if not, I'll see you on a Battlefield soon. Have a good night. Bye.